What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are here with our final Detroit Lions mock draft. Today, we are going to be doing our Detroit Lions predictive mock draft. It is exactly like it sounds. We predict the Detroit Lions draft pick for the 2022 NFL draft. Last year, we had one pick right, not at the right spot, but we had one player right. The goal this year is hopefully maybe to get two, just two players. So let's get it started.
The city's been down and it found a way to get up. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take two more shots to knock us down. We're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
And welcome everybody to a video. Glad you guys are here for another mock draft, man. And this is the exciting mock because this isn't necessarily like my mock draft who I'm taking. It kind of is based on what I know, but it specifically is me trying to predict the players that the Lions may draft in this year's draft. And it's extremely difficult, especially once trades start to come into it, because I can't really predict trades. And with this draft, I didn't do any trades because I can't really predict it. So I'm going to stay put. We'll see if the Lions stay put. I doubt it. I assume they will move around. I think pick 32 is a very movable spot for the Lions, especially back for a team that wants to move up to possibly get a fifth-year option on their quarterback. However, I stayed put just to try to keep the mock as easy as possible, because if I start trading and then they start trading, everything's going to be thrown completely out of whack. So again, this is not necessarily who I would take. These players may not be available when I take them. No idea. That's the tough part about doing a predictive mock draft. But like I said, last year we did pick St. Brown as one of the draft picks. We were off on the position, I think. I think I had him going earlier to the Lions, and he went a little bit later, which was perfect. But we did get that right. So the hope this year is maybe we get two. If I can get two players anywhere on this thing right, I'll be extremely happy. But this draft just feels so darn difficult. I mean, even the top pick. Last year I said Rashawn Slater. They took Sewell because I didn't think Sewell would be there. So let's waste no time. Let's dive right into this. Our final predictive mock draft. Keep that in mind. These are not my picks. This is me predicting what the Lions may do in this year's draft. So let's dive into it. Let's start with the first pick for the Lions in this year's draft with the number 2 pick in the 2022 NFL draft. I think this could go multiple ways. I think the Lions do like Kayvon, and I think if Aiden Hutchinson is not here, Kayvon's in play. I also really think Travon Walker would be in play if he was here at this number 2 spot. However, the rumors have been coming out. You've been hearing them. There's a lot of smoke that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be going not only with edge, but with Travon Walker with the 1 pick. It's kind of the background of their general manager over there to take a guy with the athletic upside. And I think it's going to end up happening. Today, they actually reached an agreement with their offensive tackle, Cam Robinson, on a 3-year extension. So I don't know if they're going to go that direction. Like doing that, it's like, oh snap, okay, maybe they're not going to go offensive tackle. So now it comes down to who, to me, at edge do they take at 1. I think they're going to go Travon Walker from what I've been hearing. I think there's too much smoke for something not to go down here. So I'm going to say they take Travon Walker at 1. So at the number 2 pick, I'm going to predict the Lions would, if Travon Walker, if Aiden Hutchinson is available, would select Aiden Hutchinson, the pass rusher out of Michigan. One of the best, if not the best, run defending edge rusher in this draft. Yeah, there's some questions, specifically to me with his length. We know that he played mainly a stand-up role last season in the Baltimore Ravens defensive style, but him being there at number 2, I think this is the perfect Dan Campbell guy. This is the perfect locker room guy. He's staying in Michigan. I love that. The production, I have him as my number 1 edge in this class. People don't realize how agile he actually is. His ability to make offensive tackles miss. I mean, it is incredible how agile he is in the lower body. You saw it by his 3 cone time. He may not have the same get off as maybe like a Jermaine or Kayvon potential, specifically Kayvon because he's been showing it, but it's not bad at all. We saw the 10-yard split with solid 162. You can even see some reps on film where you're like, whoa, he's getting off there. To me, it's the IQ, it's the intelligence, it's kind of adjusting to what he's seeing, it's the run defense, it's just the entire package you're getting here. So I'm going the Lions take Aiden Hutchinson with the 2 pick in the 2022 NFL draft. He stays in Michigan, and I would be super, super excited. I think this could go multiple ways. You guys know I want Jermaine Johnson here, obviously if Hutchinson is not available, but I think Kayvon really would be that guy that's definitely on the table, especially if Hutch is not available. But I'm going to go with Hutchinson. All right, that moves us to our second pick in the first round, pick number 32. Now, this player may not make it here. However, mock draft simulators say that, but rumors don't agree. Rumors have stated that this is a guy that looks like he's probably going to hit day 2. So Lions maybe could wait on this a little bit longer, but we know Dan Campbell has constantly said this offseason when they've interviewed him, it'd be nice to add some linebacker help. They have in free agency a little bit with the Chris Boards and the Davis, and they've added a little bit of help, but it's nothing that really stands out. It's no long-term guys that stand out there. Alex Anzalone is back. Of course, Derek Barnes is going to be your Mike going forward. So to add to that group, I have the Lions selecting Nakobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia, with pick number 32. I do have a little hesitation with taking a linebacker this high, and I definitely think Lewis Cine could be in play at this spot. I just am really concerned with him being available here. I don't know if he's going to be available, and obviously I have to take that into account. I think there's a better shot Nakobe Dean is available here if Devin Lloyd is the number 1 linebacker off to a team like New England. So I'm going with Dean. I think it definitely could be the safety out of Georgia as well, Lewis Cine. I'm kind of down to kind of those two, but I think the door completely opens up once you get to pick 32 and beyond for any position the Lions could take. But I think Nakobe Dean, he's a leader of that defense. He's a very disciplined linebacker. We know he's a good matchup for running backs, which is really tough to find. He's just your weak side linebacker that you really don't have on the roster. He's a good sideline to sideline guy. He's a nice tackler. He's a really big-time blitzer, and they do that a lot at Georgia, while also putting him in man coverage assignments, specifically on running backs. May have some issues with tight ends, things like that, so you'll have to be cautious. You know, that might be a matchup for a safety, but in that situation, I'm probably blitzing the guy anyway. So, yeah, there are some slight limitations. A lot of it comes with his size, but Nakobe Dean is one of the top linebackers in this class, and he could really help set the tone defensively for the Lions. So, I'm going to go Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. On to pick 34, this is where things get really difficult because I think it could go a multitude of ways. Again, if Lewis Cine was here, maybe you consider that. Do you consider doubling up on linebacker, taking his teammate Quay Walker? Do you consider cornerback? Roger McCreary, I think, would be high on my board if I'm looking cornerback at this spot. Where do you look? I think it's open to possibly go really anywhere. Defensive line could be in play here. If there's a dog sitting there and you're like, man, that guy fell through, whether that's Devontae Wyatt, or if it's just someone like a DeMarvin Leal, or if they're very high on Logan Hall, who I'm a very big Logan Hall fan, maybe that comes into play here. But for me, I'm going to go with maybe a surprise here, but, you know, that's how the draft goes. I'm going to go with Christian Watson, receiver out of North Dakota State. Now, there have been rumors the Lions would be interested in this player. I've also seen that with David Bell and Velus Jones Jr. So I think all of those guys are, of course, in play. I think a lot of receivers are in play, and I don't think the Lions need to go this early for receiver. Now, I would probably like to switch this to maybe get the 5th-year option on the receiver rather than the linebacker just because of financial reasons. But I don't think they need to go this early with receiver. I don't think the Lions believe they need to go this early with receiver. But honestly, I'd be a little surprised if Christian Watson was still on the board at pick number 34. I really could see him going in the first round. And I think what the Lions are looking for is a guy that can consistently wins on the outside. That's what they're looking for. No matter the size, the shape, whether that's Velus, whether that's a David Bell, whatever he looks like, we want a guy that consistently can win on the outside. They told us that they'd sign an offseason receiver and they would draft 2 of them. So I still think that's very possible. I'm going to go with Christian Watson, a guy that, yeah, he still needs some development, but we saw him at the Senior Bowl show a really deep route tree, and he was dominant, just like Cooper Kupp was when he came out. It's like, okay, he really burst onto the scene there. Christian Watson's ability with the ball in his hands as a potential kick returner, his deep threat ability, just the ability to win on the outside. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Show off a pretty expanded route tree potential. I really like the guy. You can use him in jet sweeps. So I'm going to go with a little surprise. I'm going to take the receiver. Why? Well, we haven't taken a quarterback. So Lions are going with Goff for at least another year. You got to surround the guy, and I don't think the Lions are going to be okay with having a situation like last year at receiver. And they know DJ Chark has issues in the past. To me, you have a guy like Watson can play Z, could play X. Wherever you need him, he can win on the outside. That moves us to pick number 66. And at this point, we've taken 2 defenders. We've taken 2 players in the front 7. We got a receiver. I'm going to go with safety Kirby Joseph out of Illinois. I do think Lewis Cine is high on their board. I'm high on guys like Jaquan Brisker. I really like Nick Cross at the spot, and the Lions could do that. But I'm going to go with Kirby Joseph, specifically more for the coverage upside. We obviously know about his wingspan and his production that he had last season at the ballpoint. He is very fun to watch, and he needs to improve. I think the processing for him really needs to improve. You kind of see him working on the fly. He can get behind schedule on certain plays, but the athleticism is very notable. He has a pretty pretty good upside in terms of ability to play man coverage, especially off coverage, like Lewis seen. I think that's the one thing when you look at Lewis and you're like, okay, what are the Lions may like here? Well, on third downs, if you're going to blitz your linebackers, which guys can play off man coverage to protect the sticks? Seen sticks out in that area, and Kirby Joseph, maybe not to the same level, but the upside sticks out there. Fluid mover in the hips, very low to the ground mover, pretty darn reliable tackler. I'm going to take a guy that could fit into this defense with really long arms, Kirby Joseph at pick number 66. And the Lions also brought him in for a visit, so there's that to mention. Number 97 and beyond was really tough because I've really went multiple ways with this one. I think there's a very legitimate shot Lions take 2 linebackers in this draft. Now, I'd be surprised if it took like Nakobe Dean and Brian Asamoah because they're similar. So I'm like, I don't know why I'd do that because I don't know how we're going to continuously have them both on the field. Maybe they look for more of a Sam linebacker. Maybe they look for more of a Quay Walker type build, even though he won't be available here. But something like that. I just think so much is in play here. I think cornerback is still in play because we haven't went that direction. Maybe even another safety. We've seen them draft multiple safeties. But at pick 97, I decided to mix it up. I don't know if he'll be available here. Some people believe he will. Some people believe he won't. But if he is, I'm going to go with Phidarian Mathis, defensive lineman out of Alabama with pick number 97. Look, the Lions, I think Brad Holmes is all about building through the trenches, and I think Dan Campbell's on board with that idea. And I think when you look at last season, you're losing Nick Williams, who, it wasn't like he was a standout player for us, but he did play half the snaps defensively. He was consistently on the field. And you no longer have that guy in the building. Basically, you're asking Levi, Ali McNeil, these guys to step up into bigger roles, but you really haven't added behind that. You haven't added more behind that. We know Deshaun Hand, he's been moved on for a while, but you haven't added behind that. You look at a guy like Mathis. How much longer is Michael Brockers going to be here? I don't know. No, he's not like a long-term fit for Lions because of his age, but Mathis, to me, at his build, he is a little bit more of a two-gapping defensive lineman, but because of his long arms, nearly 35-inch arms, which is very similar to Michael Brockers coming out, his ability to really play across the defensive line, but come in and be an immediate run defender. His stack, his shed ability is really good. It sticks out in this class, and he does give a little bit of pass rush upside while also some pass rush awareness to get his arms up, try to knock down passes. He still isn't the most explosive athlete, which is the reason I have pause on this pick, but I am looking for possibly a guy that can rotate, help us on those early downs. Probably wouldn't want to have him out there on pass downs, but a smart, high IQ player that could possibly be your future 5-tech. I think Levi's going to see a lot of work against guards on the interior, but again, this could be eventually your replacement for Michael Brockers in pick 97, but this year he would also help you as a rotational run defender because the Lions got to stop the run. It's just as simple as that, and you are asking Levi and Aleem to step up, but you know Levi wasn't great last season. He's got to really improve. So put pressure on him, right? You know that he had that back injury. So to me, it makes sense that the Lions will probably not sit back and just not address defensive line. So I'm going to go Phidarian Mathis, but I think this could go a lot of different directions. That's the pick I'm going with, though. It's a tough one, but that's where I'm going. Pick number 177. Now, this really gets difficult just because you're talking about player names. Position-wise, I have a good feel of where I think the Lions may go here, whether that's tight end, running back, offensive tackle. An offensive tackle could be in play at 97. You know I'm not against that. Y'all know I'm not against that. I just don't really think the Lions will do it. I can't picture it, but I'd be in for it if a guy like Zach Tom was sitting there. However, at pick number 177, it's tough. I think this would be a good area for a tackle. But in this mock, I'm going to say the Lions go right back to the trenches once again and select Eric Johnson, defensive lineman out of Missouri State. Now, Eric Johnson had a phenomenal pro day, which has really put him on the radar of a lot of teams, specifically me. It was the first time I heard about the guy. Just under 300 pounds, smaller school, but he has that first step explosiveness. He's a guy that could play different spots, and you saw the Lions test it out, which is the reason Lions may not draft Mathis because maybe they don't want to double up here. But again, you putting Mathis in, right, can kind of replace what you don't have in Nick Williams, but I think you still continue to look to add to that after last season. So at this pick, when you're at pick 177, the Lions don't move around, which I could definitely see them doing. I think you're looking for guys with upside. I think you're looking for guys that can help you, and Eric Johnson can help you in an area that you need help. He's an outstanding athlete. Lions messed around with him because he was on the Lions Senior Bowl team, played him a little bit at defensive end, moved him around a little bit on the defensive line, and he showed some of that versatility. You watch some of the athletic upside, and while it's not consistent as a pass rusher, he can be on the field on third down, whether that's through stunts or the nasty swim move that he put out on one-on-ones. The upside is very legit with this guy, and if you can snag him at 177 out of Missouri State, I think it's hard not to be interested, especially if the Lions don't have a defensive lineman by this point, but we obviously already took one. So this was maybe cornerback, maybe tight end, maybe running back, but in this scenario, I'm going with Eric Johnson. If you're going to fix this defense, I think it's got to start there, and it's clear Lions need work after last year. Now, this could be another linebacker choice. No linebacker really stuck out to me. You know, you look at guys that Lions brought in for a visit like a Devin Harper. Well, he might go undrafted. No guy really stuck out to me to take here. Eric Johnston sticks out, however, so I just took best player available at this spot. Moves you on to pick number 181. Now, we still haven't had our tackle in this predictive mock, so here's where I take it. If Logan Bruss was there at 177, I'm taking him, right? If Chris Owens is there, I'm taking him out of Alabama, who played right tackle last season. There's a couple guys that I really like here, but I don't know if either of them will be available at this spot, which is why I'm open to really anywhere 97 and beyond for a tackle. And if the Lions especially have a 4th round pick, that could easily go towards a tackle. But in this scenario, because I don't think those guys will be available, even though I'd prefer them, I'm going to go with a different name. I'm going to go with Cordell Volson, the North Dakota State offensive tackle. Okay, now this guy has recently kind of came into a right tackle role. He played at the East-West Shrine game, showed out there in his pass protection. It's a step up at in terms of the competition level, but he did show what he could be as a pass protector, specifically with his hands. He's a very strong offensive lineman that could definitely move towards the 2nd level for your team. So, you know, again, I would prefer Logan Bruss. I would prefer Chris Owens, and it's really hard to say what name. I do believe tackle is a must. It's a priority. Wherever you get him, it is a priority to Lions address that. If they don't, I think it's a very big mistake. I really, really do. Unless they hit it in free agency or find a really good stud in UDFA, I think it's a big mistake you don't address backup tackle after what you had last season. So I don't know if I love this pick, but it's a predictive mock, and I think this is a position you got to go. So I'm going with Volson out of North Dakota State. And then we'll finish it off with a weird one. See, this is where I've kind of bounced back and forth. Do the Lions go running back here? They haven't hit cornerback. Do they try on a cornerback? Do they grab another safety? If a Turner Yell out of Oklahoma, who I don't think will be there, is there, do you take him? If Scott Turner's there of Wisconsin, I would take him at this spot. So where do the Lions look to go? Well, I think if Hassan Haskins is there, the Lions would take Hassan Haskins with their 7th round pick. It's very normal to see Rams in the past, when Brad Holmes was there, take at least one running back each draft. They did it a lot, even if that was late, if he's available. To me, he's way too talented to be available at 217. So he is there. I think you got to take him. However, I'm going to go with a different name because I don't think he'll be there. I'm going to go with a cornerback. Say the Lions maybe add more competition for this position, because running back isn't a need. You have depth. You have good running backs. You have Craig. You have Jamar. It's not a need. You could just address that in UDFA. It's, again, taking best player available. I'm going to take a cornerback. I'm going to take Jack Jones here out of Arizona State. A little bit undersized. All right, McMillian is a little bit undersized as well. Guy out of East Carolina they brought in. Maybe it's a guy like that, but I think he could go undrafted, so maybe you could scoop him up that way. Very competitive player. Jack Jones, to me, is interesting. I think he looked much better in off coverage, but you just watch the anticipation, the playmaking, the ball production that he's had. Really good at exploding down on breaks, on cuts for receivers, making plays on the football. He's a willing hitter, and again, he's undersized. This is a player that could transition between playing slot and playing outside, which for Lions isn't bad. The more competition you can have, AJ Parker, you got to push that guy. We brought in Mike Hughes. I don't think the Lions are at all afraid of getting a guy that's undersized. You bring in McMillian for a visit, you sign Mike Hughes, you have Jerry Jacobs. Lions, to me, are no way concerned with how big is the cornerback, right? I think they're fine with that. But is the guy physical? Does he play with physicality? Does he have that ability to not only play on tight coverage, but also play off-man coverage and be an instinctual player like an A.J. Parker? To me, that's where Jack Jones shines, is he's instinctual. Same reason that I think Scott Nelson shines is being an instinctual safety. So if he was there, I'd be fine with taking him. But in the predictive mock, I'm going to go with cornerback Jack Jones out of Arizona State. So this is my predictive mock. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm hoping maybe we hit on 2 names here. I don't know if I feel extremely confident, but I feel like we may have hit on 2 names. I hope so. I don't know. I really don't care. Honestly, I'm just hoping that I like the draft, whatever they take, but we have to do this, it's tradition. So comment down below, use the Lions picks right now, your predictive mock draft for the Lions. Whoever gets the most right, maybe we'll give something out. Maybe we'll do a giveaway or something for whoever gets the most players right, okay? So maybe we'll do something like that. So try it down in the comments below. I could be completely off. I may have none of these correct. Very possible. It's a very tough thing to do, but I thought I'd try it and have some fun with it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. There have been some rumors out there that the Lions would be one team interested in Debo, even though I don't think that's going to happen. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But anyways, enjoy the draft. Thank you, Pop, for watching, and I'm out.